Christian Beer Show.
Welcome, Vicente. Thank you for coming to Thrive today.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, man. Anytime. I haven't talked with you in a while. When was the last time we saw each other?
I think like 2 years ago or something like that.
2 years ago.
At Juanqui's.
At Juanqui's. I think we went to Sabos. Like we had a few beers with you, with Juanqui, with Valeria, with maybe Juanqui's wife.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we just
Andrea.
With Andrea. And then we just got too drunk and just continued. We went to Juanqui's house and just like drank.
Yeah, I think you stayed, but I went home because I was already falling asleep. Because we also we drank a lot, and there was also this party from
that's right,
his brother. Yeah,
I remember there was a little bit of dancing. Interesting night.
It was really good. And then I never saw you again because you went to the beach or something like that. And
and then I came back to the US.
Well, that was 2018 or something like that.
I think so. I think it was because 2018 I went to Ecuador. Can't remember if I went in 2019. I think I didn't. I can't remember if I did for New Year's, to be honest. But then COVID happened. Well, that was in March, so I don't remember. I think I may have not been there. And then in this year I'm not going either because I'm doing paperwork in order to like have my permanent residency here in the US, so I can't leave the country until that's over. But I'll be back. I'll be back next Christmas for sure.
Oh, so next year.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're staying in New York right now.
Yeah, I'm in New York. I'm gonna be staying here. This is gonna be my headquarters from now on. I really like it here. It's just fun. There's a ton. Even in the middle of the pandemic, there's a ton of stuff to do. And there's a lot of really cool, interesting people and a lot of activities. Yeah, man. This is where I want to be.
And are you living by yourself?
Yes, I live in my apartment here on my own. You should come. You should come visit.
Yeah, I would like to maybe next year. But I don't know if the COVID thing is still going on. I don't know if I maybe could travel, and I don't know if I'm going to New York. I would like it to be like normal.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, not like now.
Yeah, I think so. Vaccination in some places is starting already. Well, not already, but in maybe a week. I think in New York it's gonna start in December 15th. North Carolina around also like in next week, but probably just gonna start with essential medical personnel. So like if you're an intensivist, if you work in the ICU, a doctor that sees COVID patients, those kind of people are gonna be vaccinated first. Then the rest of the essential personnel, then probably the elderly, then probably young people. So maybe if you plan to come, plan to come in summer or fall next year. I think by then things should start to be okay again. I hope.
Maybe by fall will be okay. And also, I don't know if I will be vaccinated here in Ecuador because we are like the last people to get vaccinated in the world. So maybe in March or in April or something like that.
Yeah, you'll get the expired vaccines for sure.
Yeah, I got the generic version, like the discount version.
So thanks for joining, man. I always remember you when I take pictures of people, or just even today there was a hawk there was a hawk that just was flying around, came to a tree in front of my apartment. And I think the hawk, it caught prey. I think it was a bird. It was eating the bird right there. And I took a ton of pictures of it, and I took videos of it. And then I used the technique that you taught me like years ago in terms of the quadrants, like how to do the 9 quadrants. And
Oh, I don't remember about that.
yeah, we were in Puerto Rico in the beach,
Yeah.
and I remember you were taking pictures or something, and I had just bought a camera, or I was about to buy a camera.
Yeah, I remember you bought a camera and you were experimenting with your camera and doing like tricks and effects or things like that.
Yeah, and I asked you like, what can you teach me? And you taught me one thing, and that thing you taught me was like, okay, think of the 9 quadrants of the camera, and if you are able to place the most interesting part of the picture in one of the, I guess,
Like
upper,
like when they meet.
yeah,
Like,
exactly, when they meet, then it'll be more aesthetically pleasing. And I've been doing that since, man, and I agree, it becomes more aesthetically pleasing.
yeah, that's like one of the basic rules, and like you find that rule like in every picture, like in every big picture. So it's really cool that you remember that.
Yeah, man. Mm. And I know, so your story is interesting because I know you didn't start as a photographer, but now you have become more and more famous in photography. I think I remember I bought a picture that you made of a Coca-Cola
Yeah,
and a ceviche.
yeah,
Okay,
you
so,
bought one of that picture of the Coca-Cola and the, it's like ají,
yeah, yeah.
like chili. No sé, ¿cómo
Hmm.
se dice? How do you say ají?
Yeah, Tabasco or something
Yeah,
like that.
something like that, like a very criollo
Yeah,
ají.
very autochthonous Ecuadorian vibe picture. And I've been following your work, and I see that your pictures are getting better and better. And now you're even doing displays and stuff. Is that right?
Yeah, so yeah, it started like maybe 5 years ago or something like that, and I didn't study it because I studied marketing and then branding, more more like graphic design,
Mm-hmm.
and I really like that, the branding part. But the marketing, I was getting disappointed every year with my job. So
What was your
photo
job?
I I did like basic marketing stuff in like big companies and retail, and also real estate, and it was like the same thing every day. So yeah, I was getting really bored, and then photography started like yeah, like a hobby, like something fun. I was doing outside my job, so it started growing like very rapidly, and now
Like
that's
how? What do you mean? Like how did it start growing very rapidly? Like how did that happen?
uh, uh, the first time I started making photographs was during a trip.
Mm-hmm.
So I was obsessed with this Andean landscape, like night sky and landscapes
Yeah,
and deserts.
yeah, yeah.
So I was very obsessed with this stuff,
Yeah.
and so I started like investigating what kind of camera should I get and how to use it. And so when I went to the trip, uh, I made a ton of pictures, and they weren't really good, but like the feeling of traveling and documenting like the life and friends and people, that was like something I have never done before. So it felt really nice, and I started doing like here in Guayaquil more and more, because I started discovering like other photographers, other people, other kind of photography that was more interesting, like street photography, for example. So that started growing. Like if you find something, then then you start finding other authors and photographers and like genres, so it's never ending.
Amazing.
So right now, like I'm really interested in like analogic photography because it's more like a process, so it's more fun and it's more how do you say, like digital is very quick and very um, inmediato,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
analogic photography is like more a process and a tangible process, so it's you have more like options and experimentation and it's really fun.
So when you say analogic photography, do you mean the ones that you go to the dark room and you have to reveal and do that whole thing? What is like, I guess, what are the differences in terms of what you can do? Because I can you do like extreme high resolution photography with analog instruments? I don't know. Like what would be the differences?
I think you can, but it's not, that's not the goal. The goal or the what you get is like difference in textures and colors and feeling and like the perception like of tangibility.
Okay.
um, yeah, it's something that can't be produced with digital, I think.
Okay.
And like I was saying, like the whole process of developing and then enlarging and printing, like it makes it really it makes it more fun.
Yeah, I remember when I was in high school, I took a photography elective, and in the afternoons we used to go with Herr Kreuder to his like little red room where we would do the revealing of the things, and it was a lot of fun. It was like a weird hobby, but it was kind of fun, like manually putting the thing in the water and just being waiting in this little thing, and then it would come out. It was only black and white, and the pictures were pretty bad. The ones that I took, I was like very young, but it was a cool thing. It was a very cool thing to do. So I could see the appeal in doing the process. And is this what you do now? Is this your career now?
No, this part of photography is like more than a hobby because nobody pays you for doing that.
Oh, okay.
Like this is something that you do for fun inside photography. So I'm experimenting that with that, like even more and more. Like this year I started like uh, practicing a lot in the darkroom with a few friends, but it's something that you do for yourself because I don't think anybody will pay you for doing like work, analogic work, because it's more expensive. It takes a lot of time to do it, and I don't think people appreciate it like the way it should.
Hmm.
And also, you can produce like a lot of work analogic, analógicamente.
Hmm. Because it just takes longer, like just the process per picture just takes a longer time, so you can't be mass producing.
Yeah, because for example, in a commercial work, you would shoot like 1,000 pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and then the selection would be like 500 or 300. So if you would like to do it in analog, like it would take a lot of time and also a lot of resources and a lot of money, and also it can't be done here in Ecuador because labs don't exist here, so it would be impossible. I sometimes I shoot analog or film, but it's in commercial work, but it's usually for me.
Mm.
Like I get like 10 pictures of something that I would like to do, but it's not for the client. It's more for my portfolio or something like that. But yeah, it usually is for me. Nobody. Aunque ¿cómo se dice?
Although,
Uh, Although some clients have asked me before for analog work, uh, and it's cool because you feel like they really appreciate like the whole process and the colors and what gives you the analogic process, and that's really hard to find, and also very cool to work with people that like that.
yeah, you know, I agree. Like once you, regardless of what you're doing, a cool thing about liking something that you do and doing a lot of it and getting good at it is that you end up meeting people that also like that thing, that are
Yeah,
also kind of good at it or want to be good at it, and you have a lot in common, and then you suddenly have a group of friends that are just interested in the things that you are interested in, and that in itself, it's this parallel reward for a hobby or a job or whatever.
yeah, it's really amazing to find people that are crazy and freaks about the things that you love too, so you can talk about it like the whole day about and every day about the like photography or analog processes and things like that. uh, Actually, right now I have like a group of friends. We talk about it like every day, and we are always like sending news and links and podcasts
Mhm.
about photography. I know that I maybe I'm becoming a little bit annoying for other people that don't like it, but yeah, it's really nice to have friends who enjoy also your the things you love, things you
Yeah,
like.
for sure, man. I see what you're saying. I think that I have like my group of friends. So I'm very passionate about a few things, right? Like I'm really into meditation, really into yoga, extremely so. And then I find myself going into these like trainings or well, in silence retreats, I will not be talking with anybody, but like I'll go to the retreats, I'll go to the teacher training programs, like those kind of things. Suddenly you start making friends there, and then you go deep into days long worth of conversation and spirituality and meditation. Not a lot of people can digest that, nor do they find it fun, but it's kind of cool. So I love doing that, and then like I'm very interested in psychedelic assisted psychotherapy, psychedelic stuff in general. Then I have my other group of people, like all these researchers that talk all day long about psychedelic research. So I talk it with them, and then I have my friends that like running. We talk about running, and then I have my friends that I just crack jokes about whatever, and then that becomes a little cool in the sense that I like if I were to talk with them about meditation, they would say, "Get the fuck out of here, Christian. I do
Yeah,
not
I
care
get it.
about it." Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that happens all the time. Usually with your friends from school,
Mhm.
you are friends because you know each other from like from school,
Yeah,
and maybe they don't share your interests or your passions, but you share other stuff, and you usually talk about anything. You can talk about anything but the things you like. Yeah, that
yeah.
happens to me a lot.
It's funny, and that happens also like the other way around, right? Like I have a group of friends right now, and we are all very passionate about our own thing, and that thing that we have, it's not necessarily what the other person is passionate about. So there's one of them that is very passionate about fashion and restaurants and whatever. So I don't think I would be that interested in having like a days long worth conversation on restaurants. Like that is not a thing that I would be interested in. But I would for sure ask her for restaurant recommendations. there's this other person that she's like a really, really hardcore into communication and business, and that I'm kind of into as well. So I will have some conversations with her about that, but also like not the whole day. So I see your point, and but that it also helps in terms of exercising the muscle of just like cracking jokes and shit like that. You know, like just
Yeah.
not being that serious, which I like. I like not being serious. I think that I had that problem when I started med school. I started med school and I really got into medicine. I just like was talking about body parts all day long. And then I had, yeah, it was kind of intense. And then that's all I would talk about all day long. And then my high school friends were like, Christian, what the fuck? Stop. Like, I'm not interested in your bones and whatever. And and then I internally made myself the rule that I would purposely make sure to not talk about medicine with people around me, and like that, except for doctors. And initially, it was very hard to do, very hard because that's all I did all day long. But then, over a period of years after that, it became very easy, and it was really good because I feel like I trained the muscle of just talking about whatever that I would find interesting or funny in the moment, or the muscle of like listening to others and stuff like that. And maybe the podcast is an extension of it, like learning what the other person is interested in, which is it. I don't know. I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I think that you have always have that like ability to talk about anything like all the time and cracking jokes. So it doesn't surprise me that that you are doing this like podcast to talk with people and know about them and cracking jokes also.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think it's a muscle, like you said, like being able to talk about anything, to 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 share things and interests between each other and just talk. And I don't think that I'm very good at it, like with people I don't know so well. I have to have gain confidence first to open up. But I think that you've always been like uh, very I don't know, like you have always been a very talkative person. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, and I remember like I can't remember exactly when we met, you and I, because it's been a long time. I must have seen you in high school, like in parties and stuff. And I think I didn't really know you until later, like after high school. Like we
Yeah,
must have gone to the beach one day and just hung out.
yeah. I think I got to know you in Puerto Rico or something like that,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
I used to see you like in every party with your group of friends,
Mhm.
but we weren't friends with you. And also a lot of friends of mine, they were really angry with you guys because you were always drinking all the booze, and and then and then you escaped the party. So I think I got to know you in Puerto Rico, in, yeah,
Yeah.
drinking and playing and talking shit, I think.
Yeah, and we used to play we used to have like guitar. We would play guitar the whole night, and then we would have the bonfire and just hang out and have a few drinks and play liar's doodle. It's liar's dice
Yeah.
in English. And you know Pablo, you know him. He came to New York like I think last year, and we had a doodle championship, and I think I won. I think I won, and he was very bitter about it. We may have a rematch next year.
Yeah he doesn't like to lose, and he's always making excuses. Like he's here right now, and
Oh, is he?
he went to Puerto Rico last weekend with Paco and Juan and Juanqui, I think.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, he's always been like that. And also, we played tennis like last week, and then he lost like 3 games or something like that, and he was very bitter about it. So yeah, I can imagine. Dudo was a classic in Puerto Rico, and
Yeah, man.
we
And,
played every time.
and then another thing that I think that made us closer was that you came to one of the psychedelic, well, the shamanic ceremonies too. Like,
Yeah,
what would you say was your experience with shamanism in your life?
I really like it, and I really like the way it makes me feel and the way it makes me think, and the days after the experience, like uh, I feel like very light and very clear and very happy. But the first time I went with you, I didn't feel a lot of things, and I also didn't see a lot of things. It was because I think I drink too little because it was my first time.
Mm-hmm.
And the second time was I went alone by myself, and it was an amazing experience because of everything I saw and felt. And I would like it. I would like to do it more, but I don't know. I don't have that much information here in Ecuador, and also uh, I was doing with I was doing it with this shaman, and he's not here anymore.
Mm.
So I don't know. I don't have. And also I went like 2 years ago or one year ago to one ceremony, but it was a disaster. I
Okay.
didn't feel right.
In what way was it
So
a disaster?
I don't know. I think like the people there and their attitude,
Hmm.
and it made me uncomfortable. So I was seeing things that didn't add up for me,
Hmm.
like for the experience. And I don't know. I felt like I was something was wrong or something like that. And
Hmm.
from that moment, I couldn't like let go or concentrate.
Gotcha.
So
It's so
yeah.
important. I feel like I mean, it's been several years since the last time I went to a shamanic ceremony in Ecuador, but I used to be very, very hesitant and very selective. If I was going to do that, I was going to make sure that this was like a very strict shamanic ceremony, like, and the shaman was very spiritual and very committed to a teaching, and to gain like a psychological gain, to make psychological gains in that thing. And I could imagine like this becoming like more profitable led business in Ecuador and in all South America, really.
Mhm.
Then who knows like what kind of people are going to be offering these things, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's with the depends on the chemistry between you and the people running it, and I didn't feel that like the last time. And as you said, it's more like a business right now, and it's very hard to find people that do it with a, a good purpose, a clear purpose, and not only for making money. Like in Europe, it's very in demand,
Mm-hmm.
and it's marketed like a product, and it's awful.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, maybe here in Ecuador too. The thing is, I don't have, as I said, I don't have that much information right now about the ceremonies or something like that. So what is your opinion on that?
Well,
Do you see it in Ecuador like more and more like a business?
well, I don't know. I think that I haven't been in Ecuador like for a while, and I haven't been following the model in Ecuador. Like what I do know is sort of is the laws. And I know that in Ecuador it is lawful as long as there's a shaman guiding the thing, right? It just can't be like anybody. It has to be like a prepared shaman. And I'm assuming there's a sort of way for you to become a certified shaman according to the government. Like, I don't know how that works, but maybe you have to prove some sort of a tradition teaching, and in order for your like enterprise to become legitimized. Otherwise, it's not legal, I don't think. And then that's all I know. So in principle, it sounds about right because it sounds like it's respecting the indigenous tradition, but it may not be. And I don't know. I just haven't followed it over there. Over here in the US, what I am following is the research. And what I think about it is that I think and hope that the findings so far, psychedelics are psychedelic assisted psychotherapy is being researched for several conditions, including major depression, including existential distress in cancer patients, substance abuse, cluster headaches, a bunch of stuff. And I think that it's very promising. Ultimately, I don't think there's enough evidence to say this is definitely gonna be helpful, but it seems like it will be. And I think that we'll know in the next 3 to 5 years. And if it becomes really as good as it's promising to be, it'll be groundbreaking in psychiatry at the very least, for the treatment of depression and maybe existential distress, death, anxiety, maybe even. And that's exciting because I think that we do need better. I mean, we do have tools to treat mental uh, distress, but I think we would benefit from having better tools that work faster, and the outcomes of the interventions last for longer. I think that if we had more of that, that can only be a good thing. And I think it's possible. And it seems like it's promising. So I'm very excited about it. And it is a matter of just waiting and seeing. But maybe one day, not too long from now, we'll be in a place where you will go to your doctor and he'll prescribe you psychedelic assisted psychotherapy. And then you'll go in the couch and then you'll put some earphones and some blindfolds, and before that you do a little bit of therapy, and then they'll train you to go through this experience, and then you overcome the issue that you're struggling with in one night instead of like a few months of psychotherapy. Of course, there's some work that you're going to have to do after, but the realization of what you need to do and the determination to make it happen, you may find in one night. So that is exciting.
Yeah, I think results are way faster, and if you have experienced it before, you know that it's very deep and very meaningful what you feel and what you think after just one session or one ceremony. And I've been like reading about it a lot in the news and also from you, and I think it will happen. There is still this taboo with psychedelics and drugs, but I think with time time is proving the other way around. Like it will work to help people with this mental distress.
Yeah, I think that this book. Have you read that book called "How to Change Your Mind" from Michael Pollan? I think he was a big deal in the changing of the mentality of people about psychedelics. I think there was this really extreme taboo about them, and then he wrote this book, became a New York Times bestseller, and a lot of people started reading it, and suddenly people thought, oh, this is promising. so the documentaries about it started to come on. There's a couple of documentaries about it on Netflix. One of them, I think it's called The Mind Explained, and then there's an
Yeah,
episode. Have you seen that one? Yeah.
yeah, I saw that.
And then there's another one. There's two more. There's another one. There's this company by Gwyneth Paltrow. Do you know the name?
The Goop or something
Goop.
like that.
Yeah, yeah. So she has this company called Goop, and she has a series on Netflix called Goop too. And there's an episode on psychedelics about it, and it's a good one. And there's also a documentary that I can't. I think the name is Have a Good Trip.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it?
I'm not sure. I saw one with celebrities,
Yes,
and,
that's the one.
and they were they were talking about their experiences with psychedelics.
Yeah, that's the one. So I think there's a lot of movement in terms of changing the mentality about it, and I'm seeing some of it even in the medical system, right? In the hospital that I'm working, we're trying to see if we can start some of this research. And one of the things that you have to do if you want to start a research is that it needs to be approved by the research scientific board. And so that means that there's a bunch of scientists reading your proposal and saying, yeah, this is okay, or no, this is not okay. And then before we submitted we haven't submitted it yet, but before we submitted it, we asked, hey, like, what do you guys think about psychedelics and the research that is happening around? And the reason we asked is because we thought maybe they'll feel very concerned about it. No, this is like bad, you know? And they were like, no, it looks very promising and it looks very exciting. We wish some of this research would begin here. So it is exciting. I think that people's minds are changing, and it may be so that it's changing faster in the developed world than in the developing world. It may be. That may be the case too.
How long do you think it will take to make like a breakthrough or having the first therapy approved with psychedelics?
Well, so specifically, so you have the classic psychedelics, and then you have some substances that are psychedelic-like. Substances that are psychedelic-like include MDMA, that is more of a dissociative, or some people call it like an entactogen, which is it's more related to your tactful sensations and your emotions. Mm-hmm. And then ketamine is a dissociative medication. And ketamine is already FDA approved for the treatment of depression because it's been shown that it immediately reduces your depression significantly after one dose.
But you have to take it like
yes, that's a problem with ketamine. It only lasts for a couple of weeks. Ketamine is an addictive substance. It is addictive. It lasts for a couple of weeks. So then you do run into that problem like, okay, well, this is an addictive thing and I have to give it to you like every couple of weeks, but then that sounds a little bit problematic. So it hasn't been widely adopted in the whole country here in the US, but there's a lot of clinics where people are prescribing it and people are taking it because it's shown to help. But it also potentially could cause problems. Now, another one is MDMA, which is MDMA has its main component. You may know it as ecstasy, right? Like ecstasy, mm-hmm. It's not exactly the same, but the primary component of ecstasy would be MDMA. And then MDMA, it's being researched right now for the treatment of PTSD. And it would be MDMA-assisted psychotherapy. So you take the MDMA and then you do a session of therapy. And that already has passed phase 1, phase 2 FDA trials. And now they're in the middle of phase 3 trials. Phase 3 is the final phase of researching a substance. And what a phase 3 study is that it's treating subjects with PTSD, but a lot of subjects. so that you make sure that it's enough population that you're not running into this situation where you give something somebody and they get better, but it's just chance, it's just luck. You're giving it to enough people that you're sure that the results are not related to chance. And if that becomes when the study ends, if the findings show that this is really good for the treatment of PTSD, I think it's going to become FDA approved. And that is going to happen probably maybe by the end of 2021 or at some point in 2022. So this is not too far away. I think psilocybin would be the next substance, and that is the main component of magic mushrooms.
Yeah,
And
I would think that magic mushrooms were coming first than MDMA.
I think MDMA will come first just because of the way the trials are undergoing. There already are phase 3 trials undergoing right now. Psilocybin, there are not any phase 3 trials undergoing, but there was a phase 2 trial that was just published, I think 4 weeks ago, not too long ago, which was psilocybin for the treatment of psilocybin-assisted psychotherapy for the treatment of major depressive disorder. And that study was very promising. They gave it, I think, to around 20 something people, and most of them their depression got significantly better in the setting of doing this therapy with mushrooms. Well, it wasn't mushroom, it's a main component in the capsule.
Mm-hmm.
And their depression got significantly better, and it remained better for 8 weeks after. Now, that's not to say that after 8 weeks it got worse. It's just that after 8 weeks they stopped measuring how you were doing.
Okay.
But at least 2 months.
But then after 8 weeks, they have to take it.
Well, not necessarily, because the trial only followed them for up to 8 weeks. So the trial was done after. They came back to their usual life after that. And that doesn't mean that maybe it could last longer, you know? There's another study for there was like a follow-up study of another phase 2 psilocybin trial for the cancer-related existential distress. So there's a lot of people with cancer that are anxious and depressed because death-related issues, illness-related issues. They got psilocybin, and they got also better. And then there was I think they followed them for a few weeks too. But then there was another study that followed them 6 months later. Some of these people died from cancer. Some of them remitted from cancer, so they were cancer-free. But there were some that weren't cancer-free, but they felt better even 6 months after that one dose. So that's promising. It's kind of hard to tell because it was just like 20-ish people, the initial study, and then some of them died. Some of them, their cancer got better, so you maybe feel better because the cancer is gone, right? So that's kind of difficult to tell whether it was because of the psilocybin, but there is a minimal amount of population that were still with cancer that were feeling better, and that is interesting. I don't think it's enough evidence to say yes, psilocybin did this, but it is interesting enough that I think further studies should study the potential benefit in the long term of using these medications.
Yeah, I think it's getting like more accepted and open, and more people talk about it, and also people from older generations are accepting it, and I think it will only get better with time. So maybe for in the future generations, it will be like a normal thing to treat people with psychedelics.
I think so, man. I think so. Okay, but coming back to you. So you're doing analog photography as a hobby, but you're also doing this thing as a business. Like when you do it as a business, like what do you do?
Yeah, I yeah, I work in like as a photographer and also as a graphic designer. I do them both, and I take like graphic design projects like logo designing or branding or packaging, and I really like it because it's like also drawing, which I like too, and I like yeah, looking for new tendencies and fonts and uh, also other designers, and I like seeing for me it's like a form of art. I don't think I'm really a pro at it, but I really enjoy the work.
You're
And
definitely a pro. I have seen the pictures, man. I have seen them.
yeah, no, I don't think so, but I think I'm still learning. And also, like I was talking about graphic design, I also admire like the craft of designing, and I really enjoy it. And with photography, it started like I said as a hobby, and then I couldn't get jobs in my career in marketing. I was getting these interviews and nothing was happening. And then a friend of mine talked about me about these jobs, photography jobs. So I started taking them, and slowly uh, began to become my main income, my main work.
Wow.
So I started like building portfolio and getting more jobs, and also with my personal work, it started like gaining attention from photography outlets around other countries. And so it's like right now photography is like a big community, so everything is connected, you know, and that's one of the thing that I most like about it, because like a community, you feel connected with everyone, and yeah, you can participate in photography contest and photography ¿cómo se dice? Callouts.
Callouts?
Sí, ¿cómo se llama? Convocatorias.
Okay. Convocations.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's called like yeah, let's say contest.
Okay.
So yeah, it started like growing and growing, uh, and for me it's really fun to do it. So that's basically the main reason I do it, because it entertains me, and for me it's not like a job. Uh, Sometimes when I do commercial work, I hate it because I'm not enjoying it, because I'm doing it for other people, and that's not the thing I would like to shoot.
Mm.
But mostly when I doing things for myself, I really enjoy it. Like the moment to go out and doing it and driving and shooting whatever like whatever you like. And also one of the main things I like to shoot is street.
Okay.
So it 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 makes you go out and like walk around and look for things. It's like a game. So for me, that's like the most precious time, like for me,
Mm.
uh, uh, because I'm usually by myself, and I can disconnect from everything. So it's really nice to do it, uh, and I do it a lot. I used to do it a lot here in Guayaquil, but here is a little bit difficult because of the could be dangerous. But every time you go out, you find something like really crazy, really bizarre, really comical, hilarious. So that's what I like about here, because you wouldn't find the things you find here in other country, I think.
I think you're 100% right. You know, I really believe that living in South America is kind of like living magic realism. Like, I remember one time where I was driving my car, it overheated. I stopped in the middle of this, like in a gas station, and it started, and I opened the trunk, I guess, like the thing in the front of the car. I opened the water valve. A lot of gas started coming up, and then there was this guy that just walked by, and he just came and looked at it, and he's like, "Hey, man, looks like your car is overheating." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly what's happening." And then another guy just walks by too, and he says, "Yeah, hey, your car's overheating, dude. Like, what's going on?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess that there's a leak of water somewhere, and so it's like draining or leaking." And then the first guy says, "Listen, this is what you should do. You should put an egg on it. You should like put an egg on it, and then it'll be fine." And then the other guy says, like, "What the fuck are you talking about? How are you gonna put an egg in the middle of the, I guess, the radiator? It is.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. Like you." And then he tells me, "Don't listen to this guy. You need a mechanic, not a chef." And then the other guy says, "Hey, but I'm a mechanic, by the way." And then the other one says, "Yeah, whatever." And they just started arguing for a while. And then I just put some water and left, and they just were arguing.
Yeah, I love it about here that the everyone has these urban myths and these ¿cómo se dice? Creencias,
Yeah, beliefs.
yeah, beliefs, popular beliefs and tales, uh, and they are really really fun and really bizarre to hear. And also these I don't know how to say it in English, but I'm really fascinated about the cuentos montubios.
Mm.
Like there are a lot of characters and people, and also I think the main character is the devil always. The devil is present every time,
Hmm.
and you have to do a series of rituals not to meet him. And if you meet him, you have to do another series of rituals. And I really, it fascinates me a lot
Hmm.
to hear about these tales. Also, this goblin, El Tintin in
Right.
Manabi,
Right.
that is really small and kidnaps women. So I don't know where all this come from, but I liked it. I love it.
It's weird. Yeah, I remember that one. Like the Tintin, he's a goblin that is a very tiny goblin that has a huge dick, and he kidnaps women and has sex with them, and
Yeah.
then everybody like people believe in that. I guess. Like, do they though? I don't know. It's kind of weird.
There is a lot of people that think that that guy exists, and they are really sure they've seen it, and they talk about him with great fear. So you you don't supposed to mock him.
Oh.
So one guy was telling me about him, and I started laughing, and he said like, no, you please don't mock him. He will come if you start laughing right now. So I don't know.
Oh,
It's
that's
it's
funny.
crazy.
All right. Well, I think I already laughed, so I hope he doesn't come tonight.
Yeah. One thing that you can do to avoid him is like don't take a shower, because the El Tintin hates like dirt,
Uh,
and he hates dirty women. And there was this thing that women used to pee on themselves just to uh, ¿Cómo espantar el Tintín?
To make him like go away.
Yeah, to make him go away because he only likes clean people.
Oh my god. Well, now I'm a little bit scared. Anyway, so and I'm about to go take a shower because I ran. So you put me in kind of a pickle because I don't know whether I should shower or not anymore.
Yeah, but I think he won't come because he only lives in Manabi.
Oh, okay. So that's nice.
So you will be fine.
All right, man. Thank you for coming today. This was fun.
Yeah, this was like a first for me doing like a podcast and talking about stuff.
Yeah.
So also in English for me it's a little bit difficult because I don't practice a lot English.
But I think you spoke it very well.
I think it has to I don't know, ¿cómo se dice? Yeah. I have to start practicing it and then it will come slowly, fluently.
I think it was fine, man. Hey, it was a pleasure and thank you for coming today. And also, I'll see you next year, man. And if you come to Ecuador, let me know. I mean, if you come to New York, let me know.
Yeah, I'm happy to see you. We miss you a lot here. Yeah. And likewise, we hope to see you soon. I was hoping to see you this year, but then I guess next year you'll be coming. And I would love to go to New York to visit you and hang out and you to show me around.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
So thanks for the invitation, and I hope you had fun.
Yeah,